Hey there, I did a Satyajit Ray film festival at my home. I'm sure Satyajit Ray doesn't need anybody's validation. He is one of the best filmmakers India has ever produced, and in fact, one of the best filmmakers in the world. Now, I screened around 10 movies right at my room, my laptop, because I am mostly a Bengali movie illiterate, and I thought of starting somewhere, and Satyajit Ray was the correct starting point. I had watched Pader Panjali a few times, a couple of times before this, and that was my only exposure to Satyajit Ray. So, in this video, I want to share with you, maybe in a rank wise order, I want to share with you those 10 movies that I have watched. I'll start with my most favorite movie by Satyajit Ray. It's called Nayak, the Hero, which was released back in 1966. Nayak, the Hero, 1966. This is about Arindam Mukherjee, a film star, one of the leading stars. Um, and this is about his growth from a very humble background to the biggest superstar in the language. This movie deeply philosophizes the idea of fame, being superstar. This is about his interaction, Arindam Mukherjee's interaction with the young Bengali journalist. It's about their conversation and how, through the conversation, the journalist exposes or tries to tease out the very core of Arindam Mukherjee. I absolutely loved this movie. Next, number two, three, and four. Oppo trilogy. In fact, probably the most famous three movies by Satyajit Ray. Definitely, Padir Panjali is the most watched Satyajit Ray movie. Oppo trilogy, three movies. One is Pathir Panchali 1955, Operajito 1950. Ever since I started watching Bengal movies, I realized there is no in Bengali. It's O. So it's Oppo trilogy, Pathir Panchali, Operajito, and finally Opur Sansar. 1955, 56, and 59. It's almost a Boldangas Roman. Opus childhood, Opus teenagers, Opus youth, Oppo getting married, Oppo's child, Oppo's parents. Fantastic, three fantastic movies. Loved the third movie, Oppo's Sansar, when Saumitra Chatterjee appears. I loved watching Saumitra Chatterjee in Satyajit Ray movies. This is about this. These three movies are about Oppo's growth. Something that I should mention: Pandit Ravi Shankar was delightful. Throughout this movie, his music was carried the soul of the story. Story is written by Bibhuti Bhushan Bandyopadhyay, Bengali. Right now, these three movies takes the second, third, and fourth position in my list. Fifth is Charulata, in fact, the loveliest movie of Satyajit Ray. The story is written by Rabindranath Tagore. This is about a kind of love story, very unusual love between Charulata and her husband's cousin. Cousin's role is played again by Saumitra Chatterjee. There is this lovely song in the movie. It's called Ogo Bideshi. তুমি থাকো সিন্ধু পারে ওগো বিদেশিনী maybe I'll post a, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. Maybe I'll post a link to that song below. The chemistry between Saumitra Chatterjee and Madhabi Mukherjee was amazing. Whenever I spotted Saumitra Chatterjee on screen, I had this. He carries it soul of that melancholic hero. Melancholy is his was his organic expression throughout the movie. Next. Is Devi 1960. This is a very, very strange storyline. This is about an upper class patriarch who has a strange dream that he dreams that his daughter-in-law is an incarnation of goddess Kali, and he begins to worship her. He begins to worship her. He asks her to be inside a room, and he starts to worship her day and night, all time. He even asks his relatives to come and worship her. This was a very metaphorical movie, metaphorical of a society that at one side reverse and worship women. But again, this reversion and worship serves only to curtains the mobility of the person. Next is Mahanagar, the big city, released 1963. This is about a housewife, Arati, whose life and the life of the family itself changes when she decides to take up a sales girl's job. This movie is about gender and mobility, gender and work, gender and uh, workplace. Next is Jal Sagar, the music room, 1958 release. This is about a wealthy landlord who loves to host music and dance programs. But now his wealthy mansion is in tatters. This movie is about the fall of upper class, the upper elite class in the Bengal society, and how they still cling on to the nostalgia, still cling on to the past, and still lives in the old uh, days of prosperity. This is also about the rise of a middle class in the Bengal society. I found this movie somewhat similar to the Malayalam movie Elipatayam by Adur Gopalakrishnan. The next movie is The Adversary, released in 1970. This is about a medical student who had to quit his education because his father passed away. This movie is about different interviews that he attended, the job hunt that he undertakes. And all of them proving to be useless. While watching this movie, I found this very similar to Mrinal Sen's The Interview. I loved watching Interview. This movie was somewhat similar to um, Interview. Now, the last movie in the list is a short film. It's a short movie, 12 minutes movie. It's titled Two. This is about two boys, one belonging to a very rich family, uh, and another boy belonging to a very poor background. Now, this movie is about uh, a playful war with toy guns and toy arrows fought between these two kids. While watching the movie, I didn't know about the symbolic weight that this movie carried. But I read an article after watching the movie, and I understood that Satyajit Ray was in fact speaking about the war, the Vietnam War, and one boy represented America and another boy represented Vietnam. So this was very symbolic. Just 12 minutes. Well, these are the 10 movies that I watched. I've screened right here at my room. Um, I had a great time watching these 10 movies, and I'm looking forward to screen other Bengali directors soon. These 10 movies were fantastic. Now, throughout these movies, I loved how Satyajit Ray wrote children, how he wrote characters of children. Um, I don't think there is another filmmaker in India, correct me if I'm wrong, in India who has mastered the craft of writing children. It's super difficult to write children because I don't think any of us remember our childhood. I don't. Tell me if you do. We don't remember our childhood. We remember our childhood in bits and pieces. And because we remember our childhood only in bits and pieces, it should be super difficult to write children. Well, after watching these movies, I YouTubed for Satyajit Ray and watched some of his interviews. If you've already watched his movies, do check out his interviews. Fantastic interviews. Well, in the coming months, I'm planning to watch more Bengali filmmakers. I'm planning to watch Rituparna Ghosh, Mrinal Sen, and Ritik Katak. If you have any suggestions, please do comment. Thanks for watching.